A contest, a radio station, water, death. These four elements intersected on March 27, 2007, in Sacramento, California, in a way that fundamentally challenged everything we thought we knew about the safest, most essential substance on Earth. This is the story of what happens when hydration becomes a weapon against the very organ it was meant to protect. Not through malice or deliberate harm, but through a lethal gap between what our bodies can physically handle and what our culture has told us is universally good for us. She was 40 years old, a woman, a mother of 3 children, no significant past medical history, no chronic illnesses, no hidden vulnerabilities, no medications that might have set her up for disaster. She had no reason to believe that participating in a local radio contest would kill her. The setup was simple, even attractive. Win a Nintendo Wii, a gaming console, by drinking water. All you had to do was drink water and hold it. Just water. How could that possibly go wrong? The contest was real. The stakes were real for her family. The water was real. And by the time 2 hours had passed, something was already profoundly wrong. A severe frontal headache, pain concentrated at the front of her skull, behind her eyes, spreading across her forehead. Then nausea arrived. Then vomiting began. Then confusion set in, disorientation, her thoughts fragmenting, the world becoming unreliable. By hour 3, she was seizing. Her brain was misfiring. Her neurons were overexcited, synchronized in chaotic bursts, her body convulsing. By hour 6, she was unresponsive. By hour 7, she was gone. Emergency services transported her to UC Davis Medical Center. She was a medical emergency now, not a contestant. Doctors and nurses surrounded her. They stabilized her vital signs. They inserted lines, ran tests, pushed medications. And for one suspended moment, one stretch of time that lasted perhaps 20 minutes, the family and medical team dared to hope. The crisis might be stopped. The machinery of modern medicine might still save her. But the reprieve lasted only minutes. What had begun as a correctable imbalance in her blood had become something irreversible deep in her brain. The swelling had exceeded what human intervention could stop. She died on the same day the contest began, approximately 6 hours after the first sip of water. Her name was Jennifer Strange. She was 40 years old. She was a mother. 9FM in Sacramento, California, in a contest called Hold Your Wii for a Wii, a play on words that meant to win a gaming console, contestants had to hold their urine by drinking water and not urinating. Over the course of 3 to 4 hours, Jennifer consumed somewhere between 1.5 and 2 gallons of plain water. No electrolyte replacement, no added sodium, no sports drink, just water, hour after hour, in a race to outdrink the other contestants, in a race to win something for her children. If you want to understand what actually killed Jennifer, not the water itself, but the precise cellular catastrophe that water set in motion inside the vault of her skull, keep watching. This is the mechanism. This is the science. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, because what happened to her reveals a hidden danger in one of our culture's most unquestioned pieces of health advice. Drink more water. Now, when an otherwise healthy person develops a seizure and loses consciousness within hours, our first clinical instinct is to suspect certain dangerous culprits. A primary seizure disorder, epilepsy, a neurological condition in which the brain's neurons fire uncontrollably. That's plausible on its surface. Or meningitis, the inflammation of the membranes surrounding the brain and spinal cord. Or a hemorrhage inside the skull. A stroke, the blockage of blood supply to brain tissue, the brain bleeding into itself. These are the immediate diagnostic suspects, but the timescale tells a different story. Here is the single most powerful diagnostic clue. Jennifer's symptoms began not days after the contest, not weeks, not months. They began within 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours. This was no slow infection brewing in her spinal fluid over days. This was no gradual bleed accumulating pressure. This was something acute, something that moved at the speed of water, something osmotic, something tied directly to the water she was drinking and the changes it was making to the concentration of her blood. Her head CT scan showed no hemorrhage. Her head MRI revealed no focal lesion, no mass, no area of dead brain tissue from a stroke, no sign of a localized structural disaster. Instead, what the imaging revealed was something diffuse, something distributed throughout the entire brain: cerebral edema. Edema, swelling, the accumulation of excess fluid in tissue. Cerebral edema, brain swelling. And this swelling was everywhere, throughout the brain parenchyma, as if her entire brain had been waterlogged from the inside. And when her blood was tested, when labs came back from the hospital, the sodium concentration was revealed to be critically, lethally low, somewhere in the reported range of 110 to 118 millimoles per liter. Normal blood sodium runs 135 to 145. This was a catastrophic dilution. This was acute dilutional hyponatremia. Hypo meaning below, natremia meaning sodium concentration in the blood. Her sodium was too low. And it had happened in hours, not days. The seizures, the confusion, the brain swelling, all of it traced back to a single molecular mechanism that wasn't fully understood until the late 1990s and early 2000s, when scientists working at Johns Hopkins University and other major institutions discovered tiny channels in cell membranes that allowed water molecules to pass through. These channels are called aquaporin 4 water channels. Aquaporins, literally water pores. They are proteins embedded in the cell membranes of glial cells, the support cells of the brain, the cells that hold neurons in place and provide them with nutrients. These aquaporin gates open and close in response to osmotic pressure, allowing water molecules to flow passively across the cell membrane from areas of lower salt concentration to areas of higher salt concentration. One of the scientists at the forefront of aquaporin discovery was a biochemist named Peter Agree. His work, along with his colleagues' research, earned him and his team the highest recognition in chemistry. On December 10, 2003, Peter Agree received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for the discovery of aquaporins. And it was precisely this molecular mechanism, the aquaporin gate, that would explain how Jennifer Strange's brain had swollen past the point of no return just 4 years later. Here is the cellular catastrophe. When Jennifer drank 1.5 to 2 gallons of water over 3 to 4 hours, a staggering volume consumed in a short time frame, she flooded her bloodstream with pure water. Her total body water increased by 10 to 15%. The amount of sodium in her body, however, remained fixed. Same sodium stores, more water. The concentration of particles in her blood, its osmolality, the number of dissolved particles per kilogram of water, plummeted. It dropped from a normal range of approximately 290 milliosmoles per kilogram toward 260 milliosmoles per kilogram and below, a steep, acute downward gradient. That gradient is the killer. Water molecules, obeying the laws of osmosis, flow passively toward regions of higher concentration. They move across cell membranes through those aquaporin 4 gates. In Jennifer's case, the regions of higher concentration, higher solute concentration, lower water concentration, were inside the cells of her brain, inside the glial cells, inside the neurons themselves. So water moved inward. Glial cells swelled. Neurons took on water and swelled. The brain tissue itself accumulated fluid and expanded. Think of the brain like a sponge enclosed in a concrete box. Squeeze water into the sponge and it expands. But the concrete box doesn't expand. The box, the skull, is rigid. It is a closed vault with fixed dimensions. The brain has minimal compliance, minimal ability to accommodate swelling without raising the pressure inside. As intracranial pressure climbed, the swelling became a mass effect, a physical force compressing brain tissue and cutting off blood flow. The pressure rose acutely. It rose past the point at which capillaries could perfuse oxygen-rich blood into brain neurons. The rising pressure pushed brain tissue downward. Without aggressive intervention, unchecked swelling leads to transtentorial herniation, a process in which the swollen brain is forced downward through an opening at the base of the skull called the tentorial notch. As the brainstem, the most primitive and most vital part of the brain, is compressed, its neurons cease their electrical firing. The medullary centers that control breathing shut down. The centers that control heart rate and blood pressure shut down. Respiration stops. The heart falters. And then it ends. Jennifer's autopsy confirmed it: severe cerebral edema. Cerebellar edema, swelling of the cerebellum at the base of the brain. Uncal herniation. The medical evidence was unambiguous. Her brain had swollen inside her skull until the pressure inside exceeded what her brainstem could tolerate. By the time she arrived at the hospital, the herniation was already underway, the process irreversible. The story of Jennifer Strange's death is not a story of a rare genetic condition or a hidden disease lurking in her cells. It is a story of a knowledge gap. A gap between what the radio station contest organizers believed and what is actually true about human physiology. They believed water to be universally safe, infinitely safe, an unlimited good. They believed the human body could accommodate unlimited amounts of it. They did not anticipate that the kidneys, even under normal circumstances with maximum suppression of antidiuretic hormone, can excrete only about 800 milliliters of free water per hour. They did not anticipate that someone could consume 3 to 4 times that volume in a single afternoon. They did not know about aquaporins. They did not know that a previously healthy person could die from dilution. When it happened, when Jennifer Strange's death became public, the consequences were swift. The radio station faced civil litigation. 3 DJs involved pleaded no contest to misdemeanor charges. Similar water drinking contests were eliminated from radio stations across the country, and the medical community was forced to confront an uncomfortable question. How many times have we told people to drink more water, to stay hydrated, without explaining the conditions under which that advice becomes lethal? What Jennifer Strange's death revealed is fundamental. Hydration is context-dependent. Safe, chronic hydration, drinking water steadily throughout a normal day, is one thing. Acute water loading, rapid consumption of massive quantities in a short window, is something else entirely. The safety margin is narrower than we had believed. This knowledge is yours now. If you are participating in any endurance event, any extended period of physical activity where you are sweating and losing electrolytes, do not hydrate with plain water alone. Use electrolyte-containing beverages. Sports drinks with sodium, drinks containing 20 to 30 millimoles per liter of sodium, allow your kidneys to excrete the excess water safely while maintaining your blood osmolality. That is the fundamental principle. Water alone, without sodium, consumed rapidly, can kill you. Water with sodium cannot achieve that same catastrophic dilution. If you are supervising a child or a student in any situation involving competitive water drinking, hazing rituals, athletic training challenges, or DARE-related water intake, know the early warning signs. Headache plus nausea during or immediately after rapid water loading is a medical emergency, not a reason to push through, not a sign of weakness or failure. An emergency. Stop. Get to a hospital. Tell them what happened. Rapid water intake, no sodium replacement, neurological symptoms. Hours matter. And if you are a medical professional, an educator, a coach, or anyone with influence over how hydration messaging reaches the public, update that messaging. Distinguish carefully between safe chronic hydration and acute water loading danger. Jennifer Strange's death was preventable. Understanding why means we don't have to let it happen again. It is within our reach. It is within yours.